So for the longest while I was wondering how I was going to do this video, whether or not I was going to call names. I mean, I'm not bad talking to anybody, I'm actually talking about positive impacts on my career. At the same time, it's not really professional to be calling people's names. Not everybody wants all their business out in the road. So I decided to just use numbers. First manager I ever had taught me about enjoying even the most menial tasks, finding some way to spice it up. Second manager I ever had taught me about punctuality, and he taught me about how important it is as a public servant to come to work very early in the morning, because the public would require your assistance very early in the morning. No shade at any public servant who's come to work late. If your conscience clear, then nowadays people working from home and all kind of things, so I can imagine people really and truly doing what they're supposed to do. Next manager taught me about sharing responsibility and the importance of really and truly identifying your role when things go wrong, not just to take blame, but rather to see how you could really and truly avoid it happening again. It's a big difference between taking the blame for somebody else's mistakes. That's actually something that I thought was, and I was quickly corrected, thank God, to realize that that's not what we're doing. Nobody likes that guy. The next manager would have taught me about patience with myself and with others. Some of the mistakes I was making when I was working with them, it really ridiculous. I'm from South, and the job was in Port of Spain. And at the time I wasn't too familiar with Port of Spain, so I was getting lost, practically making a big fool of myself. And thankfully this particular manager was extremely patient, inspiring me to be more patient with myself and my employees. Even managing people twice my age, I was surprised to think the amount of patience sometimes was needed. The next manager taught me how to follow my gifts and not my passion. It wasn't Steve Harvey.
You come to the Apollo and you can't sing, we got something for your ass up there. Period. Listen to me. All of you have this gift. Identify it. It's the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. That's what you should be doing. You're wasting your time pursuing your passion.
He was Polish, he had a Polish accent. He said, "Michael, your parents did a very good job. You seem to have many very different skills. But Michael, what are you great at?" And he basically encouraged me to be a motivational speaker. And I always thought my motivational skills was practically juvenile. To me, it's just I simply see that something can be done and I do it, and I encourage people to think the same. The reason why I emphasize so much on guidance and the lessons that I learned from managers is I believe management truly is guidance, and that's the type of style that I try to exemplify when I was managing. There are many that push the narrative that being a manager is like a parent, and the parenting style is micromanagement to boot, constantly questioning and dictating every little detail around employees and their behavior. That's fine. I'm actually really excited to find a place where that actually works. But in my experience, that is the type of management that is constantly failing, leaving people feeling disrespected and in turn becoming disrespectful. Ultimately, putting employers and employees at a disadvantage when it comes to getting things done, because then accountability is elusive. As we discussed before, what always worked for me is guidance. Guidance on the big things, the things that matter. That's the type of management that I've employed. As ridiculous as it might sound, I applied the 5 love languages in my management style. For instance, words of affirmation. Whenever I was walking by and I happened to see an employee doing the job, I'd make it a point to pull them aside and encourage them. Just say a few kind words. I call it boosting as opposed to buffing. Get it? No? I did this because it wasn't costing me anything. However, both managers and other team members should highlight the importance of formal recognition, without which people would be insulted by what I'm suggesting. Additionally, there should be products and services offered to employees. The best way to sell a product is to experience it ourselves, whether it be from coupons and competitions, discounts, whatever you all collectively decide to be the most motivating. Of course, there will be some people not seeking motivation, and they would use anything to externalize how they feel, which brings me to my next point. Your mood is your responsibility. It's impossible for somebody to come correct to you all the time. Even if you do nothing to warrant it, somebody somewhere would want to step on your toes on any given day. You might even be the one to rub somebody else the wrong way. Know this, encouragement, love languages aside, it is never your responsibility to affect someone else's behavior or make them feel better. It is never somebody else's responsibility to make you feel better. If you're not self-motivated, no amount of external motivation or management could be capable of managing you. I do believe at any given time, people expect way too much from their work environment, even if the majority of their life is spent in that work environment. If you want some tips on how to stay motivated and find meaning in your work, check out this next video and read the article I posted on LinkedIn, which is something I would encourage you to follow if you enjoy your content more when it's written. Naturally, as a manager, I will have many tasks at any given time, but the key to properly manage this is to be able to do one task at a time. While you're trying to do this, naturally, you will have a lot of other tasks that are competing for priority, as well as employees that might have issues that they want to make your issues, naturally. What I would suggest is always listen very carefully and ask questions to determine how urgent these issues might be.